Okay, hello. So this is a video response to Angierandomstuff. I hope I'm saying that right. Hello, you sent me a video response asking some questions from my Black in Korea video, so I just wanted to come back and give you a response. I guess it's a good thing you did that because I haven't made a video in a while. um, so anyway, thanks for checking out my video and posting this video to ask me your questions. So first, I want to say that I'm not exactly sure how helpful I can be to you, only because you're in the military and I'm a civilian, and so we come from two different worlds. The way that the military operates. Just in what I'm going to talk about, which is schooling, schooling, jobs, grocery, all those things that you operate is completely different from, how I do things, because there are different rules in the military. And honestly, the military is like a whole different world. I've been on the base once, and you live in like a little America where I live. Even though you're in Korea, you live in a little America. English is all around you. American food. You're using American money. You get paid in U.S. dollars. I'm living in like the real Korea. As opposed to the military here. But anyway, I will try and go ahead and answer a few of your questions, the ones that I can. So I do apologize if I'm not really helpful, and as I said, I don't think I can be as much help to you, only because I am not military. But I hopefully you can, and there should be some type of resources for you in the military to find out a lot more about these same questions that you are asking me, because I do know people from the military. I attend a church actually that's just for the military in Seoul, and so they've been telling me a little bit about their experience, so that's probably what I'm going to share with you today. But hopefully you can go and find someone who can answer these questions a lot better than I can, who's from the military and deals with military families and would be dealing with will be better equipped to answer the kind of questions that you're answering about for your experience, or for what your experience would be if you choose to come to Korea. Okay? So, the first thing you talked about was whether or not, I'm sorry, the first thing you talked about was in my video. You said that I made it sound like there wasn't a lot of black people here. Actually, there's quite a bit of black people here. Obviously a lot more in Seoul. Where I am in Cheonan, there are a few black people. I have seen a few black people here. There isn't a whole lot. But there are. I did not actually mean to make it sound like there wasn't a lot of black people. Maybe I was just talking from my experience in Cheonan. But in Seoul, which is where it sounds like you'll be going, or where you're thinking about going, there are quite a bit of black people and mixed race interracial people in Seoul too. A website that you could check out is called Brothers and Sisters. Oh God, is it Brothers and Sisters of South Korea, or Brothers and Sisters in South Korea? It's a Facebook group. But anyway, there's that would be a good place for you to look up some information. You can probably find out quite a few things, just about anything. When I first went on there, I went there looking for hair, places I can get my hair done. So you should look it up, Brothers and Sisters in South Korea, or Brothers and Sisters of South Korea, or something like that. But yeah, there are quite a bit of black people, people of color, but obviously a lot more in Seoul. Um, Let me see what else. The next thing you asked me about was schooling. Now, this is one of the areas where I probably cannot be of much help to you, because as a civilian, I teach in a Korean school. I don't go on the base. The only thing I can tell you about on requirements, you ask, whether your children would be able to go to school on base, if they can, or if they can go on to school, I'm guessing outside of a base. That's up to you. I would think, though, that just because you're coming from an English um, country, from America, that hopefully you would want your kids to go to an English school, just because if they don't know Korean, if it's not their native language, or they haven't been studying it at all or anything like that, I think it would be extremely hard for them to go to school completely in Korean, unless they're very very young, maybe toddlers or something, where they can absorb a lot of a language fairly quickly. But anyway, from what I've heard from military families that I've talked to, they do have really good international um, schools on base, and they do have international schools outside of bases as well. I have heard that too. Where they are, which ones are the best ones, I have no idea, because I was employed to teach English at Korean schools, and I'm not a certified teacher, so I cannot teach at American, or I shouldn't say American, English speaking schools where English is the official language. So I could not answer you about that. I think that, again, the best person to go to about that would be someone in the military, or someone who deals with military families, and can give you your options in that way. But that is not my experience, so I really couldn't tell you where the best schools are or anything like that. All I know is that I do know that there are schools on base, from kindergarten right up to high school, that they do learn, and like I said, I know that there are a few international schools outside of the base as well. Then I do know that in school as well, they do learn languages. I was actually just talking to a family this weekend, and he was a teenager, he's in high school, was telling me that he's studying German and French, I think, right now. Whether or not Korean's a required language, again, I'm not sure, but I do know that from what he told me, and from what another little girl told me, they do learn languages. And maybe they do learn Korean. I mean, they are in Korea. It would kind of make sense for them to learn Korean too. But again, I'm not an expert on that. So moving right along, activities for teenagers. Activity for teenagers, I think there's a lot of things to do here. I think it just depends on what your interests are. I mean, kids here are busy all the time, okay? They are not just lollygagging around just doing their homework. Kids go from school to a private academy where they learn some more, or they're doing art or drawing or playing sports. Or I think that Korean kids are so much more active than American kids, and they definitely study a whole lot more. So I'm sure that there are lots. I mean, I've seen different sports, things. I think Korean parents, though, are more interested in their students going to like hagwons, which are private academies, and doing actual learning versus activities where they're physically active. So, and again, like I said, my experience is from Korean schools. This is what I see Korean kids doing. And basically I see them hopping from one private academy to the next. But I do know that people here do like to keep busy. So there are lots of things. Even for adults, there's lots of things. Even I've taken up piano. I've taken up drawing. I can't draw to save my life. But anyway, that's another story. There are lots of things to do. So I'm sure you should be able to find different activities depending on what your child's interest is, or what your interest is for your child. Next, traveling with what is this? Transferring school. I'm sorry, I'm reading my notes. Okay, let's go on to animals. Transporting animals to Korea. Again, not an expert on that. I don't have any animals. I have not tried to transfer any animals. Whether or not animals are allowed, like, in your home, of course off base, because I don't know anything about living conditions on base. I have heard of people having animals. Actually, there's someone down the hall that has an animal. I hear it barking in the mornings and evenings sometimes. But as for like the actual rules about it, again, so sorry, not an expert on that. Next, and I think the last thing you asked me about was drinking water. As for me, like, I buy bottled water, so, I mean, I'm not sure if you're asking, like, is it tap water good enough to drink, or if, like, the bottled water, if there's any issues with that. I drink bottled water, and I have I've never had any issues with that. I haven't hardly gotten sick, and I actually have a pretty sensitive stomach from neither the food that I've eaten. I can count on one hand the times that I've actually gotten sick here from either water or food or anything, really. So, I think the drinking water is fine. I wouldn't suggest drinking tap water or anything like that. I don't think any tap water is good to drink. It's not something that I would do. I hope that was it. Or I hope I helped in at least a little bit, a tiny bit. As I did say, I cannot give you a lot of information because our experiences will be different. But I do hope that you are able to find the answers you're looking for, and that by the time you're finished all of your research, you'll be able to make a really educated, as in you'll have enough information to make the decision as to where you want to go and if you want to come here or not. So I wish you the best of luck in your research and in your and in making your choice and going through and making your choice. And yeah, so let me know if you have any other questions. As for me, I think Korea was a good experience for me. So yeah. Anyway, okay. See ya. Bye.